Hi, everybody. This is Mark J. Ryan, and I'm here in Mount Shasta in my lovely house. Sunny day, middle of January. It's probably going to be the last one for a little bit. We've got some snow coming in. Around the first of the year, somebody had posted on Facebook this quote that I have up here, and I'll go over it in just a minute. And it really struck me. It really struck me because I've been going through some issues over the last couple years with an ex-partner. And there's been some parts of it that I haven't been able to let go of. I've been able to let go of it and forgive most of it. But there's still been some lingering things going on inside me and questions, wondering, was what I thought about that person accurate? And how could I be so far off? And some of the things that people say, don't close your heart down. Well, some of the things that people do when you've been offended, I'm sure, by somebody out there in the world, whether it's close to you or at work or somebody from your past. And we go through this process, and I think that one of the biggest things that lingers is, how could I have let this happen? How could I have let this happen? And I think that that's what gets people is, did I miss something? And we all miss something, obviously. We're creatures 7 plus or minus 2. If you don't know anything about that, go look up on the internet. But we can only take in so much data. There's so much data coming in from so many different directions, outside and inside, your memories, your thoughts, your beliefs, all competing for a limited amount of present concentration, present focus, to say it in a better way. And so, we're going to miss something. We're going to miss a lot. But pretty well when you have a friendship with somebody, there's times when you get hurt and things happen. But when it really goes bad, whether it's a personal relationship or a friendship with somebody, there's lingering questions of like, why didn't I catch this? So anyways, there was this piece lingering, and you might want to go inside yourself and remember times where you just couldn't get it. You knew you did everything right, and what was it? And a lot of times, if you're a decent, honest person, even though you've done everything right, there's still a part of the question, say, what could I have done more? What could I have done different to make this better? And then I read this, and right before the first year, I think it was about the 29th, and I posted it, and I've got a huge response to it on Facebook. So I knew there was something in it. And we're going to explain a little bit about it, go through it, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a meditation to clear this, but also to look for it in the future and to allow yourself to continue to go into situations and be open, knowing what this says. So let's go through and read this real quick. If you succeed, now this, let me stop for a second. This is meant to be second position. In NLP, first position is me looking out my eyes. Second position is kind of going over into somebody else's shoes and looking out their eyes and feeling what they feel. So this is meant for the person in second position. This is meant for the person that has offended you in some way or taken advantage of you. If you succeeded in cheating someone, don't think that person a fool. Realize the person trusted you much more than you deserved. And if you need to pause this, pause it and go over that several times in your mind, because from that perspective, it does something else. It does something different. It puts you kind of in the shoes of the other person reading that, the person that did the offending, to get you to realize that really we did nothing wrong. I'm sure, and I say we did nothing wrong. I'm sure we did certain things wrong. But overall, in the big things, how it ended up or how whatever the score was, if you're keeping score of it or not, that from that person's viewpoint, they have to look at it that way. Realize the person you trusted deserved much more than you gave them. But it says here, realize the person trusted you much more than you deserved. So if you put it on from that other person, and imagine that's part of the exercise I'm going to take you through. That's why I'm bringing it up at this point. But it takes it off yourself, because what you're not doing is including the other person taking responsibility for their world. And that was the perspective that I was missing. Everybody kept saying to me, Jeepers Creepers, let it go. It's been a long time. Yeah, he did just wrong in this way, and he did this and he did that, and let it go. Well, letting it go is easy for people to say when they're telling you that. It's easy for me to say when I'm telling other people that. But when you're in it, it's not necessarily easy to do, especially when you've let go of most of it. So the missing key was the realization from this person in the second position that if this is the case, if you succeeded in cheating someone, if they succeeded in cheating you, don't think of me as a fool. Think of yourself as somebody that doesn't deserve to be trusted. That flips everything for me, and I'm hoping it'll flip for you like it did with all the people on Facebook and other people I've told about this. It really makes a huge difference because now you're taking 100% responsibility, and yet if there's more than one person in the world, then they also need to take responsibility. How would they take responsibility for it? So when you put it over there, and now let's put it in our shoes. Let's say we did something bad to somebody, and maybe we took advantage of them in a way that we shouldn't have taken advantage of them. And now I pop that into myself, and I say, Jeepers Creepers, if I succeeded in cheating somebody else, don't think that person is a fool. Realize the person trusted me much more than I deserved. When I feel that and when I take that on and then bring it over and imagine that person feeling it and taking it on, it shifts everything. It shifts everything. There's a kind of a balance that goes with it. And then that leaves me in peace, so to speak, to know that that person has to deal with what they have to deal with. Because I've done all kinds of cleaning on the other aspects of it. And when that part takes and puts, even though I'm taking 100% responsibility, but I'm also putting 100% responsibility on him as a human being to say, how might, from a proper spiritual perspective, let's say, or a spiritual perspective, how might he reframe that to himself from that? And it really does have a release to it. So go over that. Think about different people and different situations in your life, people that have offended you, people that you've offended. And even people that you've offended realize that, that they were open and I didn't deserve the trust. Maybe you didn't deserve the trust that they gave you. See if that works for you. See if that helps. And now let me take you through this meditation. The first thing I do is, if you haven't, it's okay to continue on with the meditation, but we've got a website that's a free hour's worth of videos. It's called Mind Power for Free. It's myself and John Overdurf. It's an amazing technique that'll shift your life. We decided it's so powerful, it's so easy, it's so good to give it to the world for free. Him and Julie Silverthorne, John Overdurf and Julie Silverthorne were the original creators of it. I've taught a whole lot of people in the world how to do this, whether it's on video or live in person. Highly recommend you go do that before you start this video. If not, you want to go through the meditation, feel free to go through the meditation. So I'm going to put a video that's going to be just a background that you can kind of let yourself float away with, because most of the time it's going to be best if you close your eyes during this. So I'll put some kind of background video again in there for you to see if you have your eyes open. If not, go ahead and close your eyes now and relax. And if you did go to the Mind Power for Free site and you know the Mind Power technique, go ahead and let yourself go into that place right now with your eyes open or your eyes closed. Feel yourself relaxing. Notice what you're sitting on or laying on. Feel what's underneath your feet. The texture, what part of your body is touching and making contact with where you're sitting or laying. Relaxing even deeper than before. Easily going to that place of comfort and relaxation where magical things can begin to happen, changes, shifts, now moving in many different directions. So for this exercise, and you can expand this and change this in any way you like, but for this exercise, imagine somebody that, based on what I just talked about, you feel like has taken advantage of you. has not deserved your trust. That you allowed yourself to open up and were taken advantage of. And you want to be able to open back up again, but also be cautious about different boundaries that you may have. And know not to let be crossed again by others. But still in allowing yourself to be open. To be able to say no. And still be open in your heart. To continue to love and to trust and be trusted. But know your boundaries. So as I read this to you again, I'm going to ask you to kind of move over into that person's shoes as we go through it. So at this point, think about the offense that occurred or the offenses that occurred. And now, in your own time, in your own way, you can either float up or move across in your imagination. And imagine yourself looking back through their eyes at you, knowing they have offended you, knowing they have done this to you, that whatever reasoning, whatever excuses they may have come up with to make it better for them, deep down, relaxing now, deep down inside that part of them, they know what really occurred. And as you're looking out their eyes at you, you might want to feel that deep down feeling a little bit, knowing what they feel as they're looking at you that they've done to you. Again, whether they realize it consciously or not, there is a part of them that does know. That's right. That at some time in their life, they will realize consciously, always knowing unconsciously what has happened. And as I read this selection to you, imagine yourself that other person and what it must feel like to hear these words or to read these words in your imagination and your mind's eye. If you succeed or have succeeded in cheating someone, that person in front of you, who is you, don't think that person is a fool. As a matter of fact, look over and see yourself in that trusting you and how trusting you are, how open you are. See that goodness in you, that good part of you that was taken advantage of, and knowing you want to keep that part open. That person was not a fool. That person was just somebody that you trusted or trusted you. That person that you trusted you, opened to you, cared for you, let it happen, and you took advantage of it. That person is not a fool. That person is open and trusting. And as you're looking out the eyes of that other person at you, knowing what that other person has done to you, feeling it from their perspective as them, they begin to read or to hear the words. Realize the person that you're looking at, that you imagine in your mind's eye, that you trusted you much more than you deserved. Feel what that person would feel like or is feeling like knowing that. And in a moment, Begin to bring yourself back over into your position, into your body, and looking through your eyes. But before you get there, kind of take a look halfway in between, or maybe a quarter or a third of the way. Look at both you and that other person with this new knowledge, as if you were a video camera, videotaping both of them. The you that was offended and the person that you know that offended you. With this new knowledge, looking somewhere in between, or a third of the way, or a quarter of the way, maybe even 3/4 of the way, before you get back and look through your own eyes. And think about, as you're looking at those two as if from a video camera, think about the interaction that happened, and think about these words again. Think about these words. If you succeeded in cheating someone, don't think that person a fool. Realize the person trusted you much more than you deserved. Realize that you trusted that person much more than they deserved. That's right. And feel free now, comfortably coming back into the body, looking out your eyes, feeling your hands, feeling your feet, feeling where you're sitting or laying. Notice what's touching your body, where the points of contact are being made. Relaxing, but beginning to gently open your eyes, seeing out your own eyes with a new realization. And whether you want to keep your eyes open or closed, look back through your eyes now and see in your imagination the offending person. And how much more easy is it to now let go, knowing what's going on in them, that it's not all your fault, that they too have responsibility and need to take and will take responsibility at a conscious or unconscious level. They know. And now you know the difference. Allowing yourself to let go and to trust again at a deep, unconscious level in yourself. Going into the next relationship, being able to open even more, knowing that no matter how far and how deep you trust, you can still have lessons learned, boundaries that you can keep up, fences and borders, and still look over at your neighbor with a fence or a boundary and still love them, open to them, trust them, only in ways that you know that you can protect and trust yourself. Take care of yourself now, by allowing yourself to open and to protect that part of you that may be taken advantage of. Realize that it's okay to continue to feel those emotions, to feel that openness even more, and at the same time not allow certain things to occur. Certain boundaries to be crossed, certain borders or fences to be crossed or hopped over. To be able to say, no, I prefer you didn't do that. I don't want to do that. No. And yet continue to stay open. So in your own time, your own way, realize that you can go back through this again as many times as you like, with as many people or different situations as you like. And come back. Welcome back. Hope this has helped you. Hope this has given you a way to release and let go of past hurts that you've had, and also taking this new knowledge into new relationships, whoever it may be. Could be 20 years from now, but to take this knowledge and know that you can take care of yourself, protect those boundaries, borders, and fences, to know this is going on at a deep level, and to let go, to give that person their responsibility, and to let that go from yourself, to give that to them, to trust them with that responsibility. Trust them with that responsibility. and stop trusting yourself to hold on to it for them. Give it back to them. This is Mark J. Ryan. Hope you've enjoyed it. Stay with us. Let me know if you like this, and I'll continue to make these DVDs, these videos, every time I get a little bit of an inspiration like I did here. Have a great new year. Enjoy.